So you're getting into UX design, but now the big question is, where do I work? A fast-paced startup, a well-known tech giant, or maybe an agency where I get to design for multiple clients? Each environment has its pros and its cons. In this video, I'll break it all down so you can figure out for yourself which one is the best fit for you. So if you guys are new here, my name is Stephanie. I am a UX designer, been doing it 3+ years now. So I've got some tidbits and things that I feel like can help you. So if this is the first time you're seeing me, welcome. Don't forget to like and subscribe. And with that, let's start off with design agencies. So agencies are companies that work with multiple clients to design products, websites, digital experiences, kiosks, tablets, like you name it, they're probably designing it. Think of them as like a creative powerhouse behind lots of different brands that might not have an in-house UX design team. So some examples are IDEO and Frog Design are a few well-known design industries. One day you could be designing a mobile app for a healthcare company. The next day you are doing the hero page for an e-commerce beauty brand. So you're kind of doing design for all types of industries across the spectrum. Some pros, definitely exposure to different kinds of industries. You get to learn a little about a lot of different industries, and you might be able to see which one makes the most sense for you if you're kind of leaning more e-commerce or healthcare or finance. So it's a good way to discover that. You learn fast because there's varying skills that you need for each job that you're working on. And you're able to really stack your resume and your portfolio because you're working on multiple brands at the same time. So you're really able to show a lot of work in a short period of time. Some cons is that it can be really fast paced and very stressful. You have less control over the long-term product vision. I'm also not sure what level of research you're getting to do. Like, is there going to be time to test with customers, or is it going to be, here are the deliverables, deliver it by the end of the week, and then on to the next? So if that's not really the style of work that you want to do, that could be really challenging. Hours can be also unpredictable depending on client deadlines. So think of it as any other type of agency, anything that's really client-based, then it's going to be very similar. So if you love variety, fast-paced work, collaborating with different brands, an agency might be the best fit for you. Next is startups, which I feel like most people are familiar with the concept of a startup. So they are smaller, fast-moving companies focused on building new products. So think of it as a young company, typically still run by its founders and the entrepreneurs that started it. I think startups are great when you're first getting out of schooling or boot camp, whatever it might be, because you're going to have the ability to learn a lot and understand that you're learning with the company. Kind of get to touch everything because it's probably a small, move quickly, break things kind of mentality. So I was just pulling up this list of what Startup Savant has listed as the 100 top startups to watch in 2025. I haven't even heard of some of these companies, guys, but some ones that I did see were Greenlight. That is like the debit card that parents can set up for their kids. Olipop is on here, which I find surprising, but maybe they're still in that early stage. So pros, when it comes to startups, you have probably more responsibility, and that means you have more direct impact on the product. You have the opportunity to wear multiple hats if that's what you want to do: design, researcher, product strategy, and probably in close collaboration with the founders and engineers. So you're understanding the product or the service directly from the source, which I think is really cool. Some cons, though, can be a little chaotic if there's an unclear process. Potentially, there's limited mentorship and resources. You could be the UX team of one. There might not be anybody else senior to kind of learn from. Job stability can be uncertain if the company struggles. At that point in a startup, you're probably still consistently looking for different rounds of funding. So if something ever falls through, then you're kind of out of luck at that point. If you loved a fast-paced environment, problem solving, and having a big impact, startup life might be best for you. Now, before I get into big tech, I just wanted to quickly shout out today's sponsor, Springboard. You guys know my song and dance. I always shout out Springboard because they are the bootcamp that I use to get my certification. If you're looking to get into UX design, but you're not exactly sure where to start, Springboard is a great option to do that. I have their free UX design course, which is only 15 hours, and it kind of just gets your feet wet to see if UX design is something that's interesting to you. And if it is, then you can take the next step and actually sign up for their bootcamp. They do a new class once a month. And so the March cohort starts March 17th. Happy St. Patrick's Day. The deadline to get all your documents in is March 12th. So you've got a little bit of time when you're watching this video. So if anything that I've talked about so far kind of piques your interest, UX design could be something that's really right for you. So if you're interested, use the link down below to sign up, and then use code StephanieM to get $1,000 off whatever course you sign up for. Good luck starting your UX journey. Okay, big tech. We all know big tech. We all use big tech. We have big tech on as our computers, as our phones, as the apps that we use. I'm talking Google, Apple, Microsoft, IBM, Nvidia, Procter & Gamble, big titans of industry, we can say. So they have a well-established UX team because they design for millions of users. So if you are working in big tech, you're probably specializing in a specific part of UX, whether it's research, interaction design, accessibility, or you're working on a specific market of that big tech. Let's say Amazon, but you're under like the Kindle department. That's what I mean. Pros that come with it, most likely higher salaries and job security. I'm putting job security with an asterisk because we all have seen the UX market, the tech market has been crazy. Big tech does not necessarily mean job security anymore. I do think things are getting better, but the past few years, that has not necessarily been a saving grace. Like we've all seen those videos where people are getting laid off from their really well-paying jobs. So just keep that in mind. There is clear career growth and mentorship. They probably have pretty well outlined plans on how you can move up in your role. And like I mentioned, you can really get specialized. You could be strictly UX, strictly UI. You want to do interaction design. You want to focus on UX writing. Like there's probably a space for you in that. Some cons, it can feel a little slow moving with a lot of the processes. There's probably a lot of approvals. There's a lot of stakeholders. There's a lot of red tape that you probably have to cut through. You also have less influence on those high level decisions versus when you're at the startup, you are probably the only decider. So it's a little bit different when you've got more approvals to go through, more meetings, more approvals, stakeholder management. You're probably doing a lot more defending of your designs, doing a lot more meetings with stakeholders to understand where you got where you're at. If you want stability, hopefully, structured career growth, and the opportunity to specialize, big tech is probably the way to go for you. Which one do you choose? I think you apply to them all and see what happens. I don't think when you're really fresh out of boot camp or school and you're just trying to get your foot into the door, any of these options is a good way to do that. Maybe the further along in your career you get, you can figure out, okay, agencies don't work for me, startups are more my jam, maybe big tech. Like you can kind of make those decisions as you go, but don't limit yourself. I just wanted to make this video to kind of give you guys some insight in what it can look like. And if you really feel strongly about one or the other, then you can go ahead and make that choice. Every job is going to fit into this category. Like my job, I feel like we're well past the startup requirements. Like we're not doing any funding. We're 400 people strong, but then we have a small design team. So it kind of feels like I still get to influence a lot of the design, but there is also a lot of stakeholder approval. So not every job is going to fit neatly into one of these buckets. So you're going to get a little mix of both. You'll probably get a taste of everything before you even know it. Let me know down below which one of these sounds like the best fit for you. If you found this helpful, don't forget to comment, like, subscribe, share with somebody who's going through the UX path. I feel like this might be helpful for them. And with that, guys, I will see you in the next one.